Good morning once again. Welcome back to New Day, and specifically to our lifestyle segment, where today we are discussing a very interesting topic: mistresses. Is it worth it? Is it all about the financial gains and stability, or does it transcend even beyond that? Is there actual or real love, or what pushes people to become mistresses, or what makes men want to have mistresses? Well, Amma and myself are not experts on the issue, but we do have one, Michelle McKinley Hammond. She needs no introduction on this show. Absolutely not. So we'll just say a big welcome to Michelle. We haven't seen her in a while.
I traveled, but I missed you all very much.
Aww, we missed you too. Hope you had a good time wherever you went.
I had too good of a time. I'm ill now.
Okay, it's good to have you back,
Thank
Michelle.
you.
And today we're talking about mistresses.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sensitive.
Yummy, juicy topic.
Yes, very sensitive as well. Let's start off by defining a mistress. Who is a mistress?
Well, a mistress is the additional add-on. A man is married and he decides to have a girlfriend. And hopefully I will put this in the category of a mistress is one that is taken care of, in a sense. Because otherwise you're just a girlfriend.
Exactly. I was just going to ask you, what's the difference between a girlfriend and a mistress? Why do you refer to them as a mistress? Why can't she just be a girlfriend?
Well, a mistress is, there to attend. She's much more owned because he has put money into this person. He might have set her up in an apartment. He's invested, so he expects a return for his investment in the form of her being available at his beck and call and sitting there and waiting for him. He does not expect that
sit
woman.
And wait.
Yes, he does not expect that woman to have another life outside of him.
Wow.
Because how we see our Heavenly Father, God, is viewed mostly through the lens of how we see our natural father. So if you've got an absent father in the natural, we begin to see God as absent. If we see a father who's not connected to us on earth, we don't sense a connection to our Heavenly Father. So it has far-reaching implications, not just naturally. It deals with your self-esteem, deals with how you spiritually approach God, deals with your self-worth, deals with how you now choose partners as you go on in life, and the attitude that you have towards having children, and even actually respecting women. Because maybe at some point you actually resent your mother because she's allowed herself to be in this situation that now affects you.
Michelle, are there any advantages at all to being a mistress?
No, pair of shoes and a bag. And then how old does that get? I mean, fast. You can get your own bag. You can get your own shoes. I think that people who rely on other people to supply them with material things are very lazy people. I'm sorry. Men are not there to cater to those types of things. The man was created to cover, protect, and provide for the woman. The Word of God tells us that the two shall become one. Now, we live in a society where people think that it's okay for men to have multiple partners. It is not okay in the eyes of God. It's interesting because Solomon had 300 wives and 700 concubines.
Or more, some people say.
Yes, over 1,000 women in his life. And God had warned him not to add wives and women to himself. And so there was a curse that actually went with that caused a lot of problems in Solomon's latter years. Mm-hmm. And, he died a very depressed man, as wise as he was. Every time that we see men in the Bible with multiple wives, we see lots of problems between their children and between the women that were married. So it shows us that the consequence of multiple mates is not a good thing to have in your life.
Okay. We're talking, just before this segment, Dr. Bote was on, and we're talking about getting tested, sexual screenings and
let's talk about that.
Before marriage. Mm-hmm. Now we have situations where married couples, even though before they got into marriage, nobody had any sexually transmitted infections.
Sure.
And a few years down the line, somebody gets a sexually transmitted infection. So somebody's obviously gone outside.
Yes.
So in a situation like that, when you are in a sexual relationship with a married man as a woman, are you putting your health at risk? Because
you are.
You
are putting. It's nasty. Let's just say it's just nasty. Because
I like the American way.
Especially if you're not using protection.
Especially if you're not using protection. Let's face it, most men do not like condoms, so they don't. Mm-hmm. So basically what you have is a situation now where a man goes and inserts himself into one woman. Yeah. Her body has a different pH and different bioactive things happening in her for JJ. Let's just put it that way nicely. So now he goes home, and whether he takes a shower or not, something has entered him too. Her juices have entered. So now when he goes and he enters his wife, he's now sharing those germs, that bacteria
So
that
those
she has.
women are connected.
Exactly, that might be healthy for her body, but they're resistant to your body because you have a different alkaline makeup and different, what did I just say? You understand? Yeah. So anyway, I'm having a blank spot for a minute. But the bottom line is that all of those things don't mix and mingle. So now your wife wonders why she keeps getting yeast infections.
White as or popular
Yes,
as white.
that white, and it's because he's transferring from his mistress to you.
So the
and
wife
if
is
that
at risk
continues,
as well.
yes, it can go into chlamydia and all other kinds of sexually transmitted diseases. So the mistress and the wife are both at risk because he's going back and forth and he's transmitting bacteria to both of you. He himself can also end up with something. So it is a health risk. This is not something to play around with.
Okay.
And it's just nasty.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about mistresses who fall into it unknowingly, and then they get in too deep. Situation, case in point, you meet a man, maybe he's going through a separation, it's very clear they're separated.
Or he lies.
Lies. Even
He's
the
not
lies.
married.
And then at some point, when it's exposed, but then at that time, you're a year in it already, you're in love.
I think it's
What
very
happens
risky. When men are separated, you need to tell them, call me when the divorce is final. Seriously.
I think so too.
Okay.
Don't even put yourself in that situation. Call me when the divorce is final.
final.
If you know that you're attracted to that guy, be realistic. We're told to guard our hearts with all diligence because out of it flow the issues of life. This is your life. This is your heart condition. This is your peace of mind. And women, we are very emotional. Yes, we can lift and separate, but our love lives do affect how we work, how we interact. It affects our thought processes. It affects the way we handle business. If things aren't going well, we're not sound in mind, we're not focused, it affects every other area of life. You cannot afford a man in your life who's separated. Wait until he's divorced or widowed.
Okay. So
Leave
what about
him
when
alone.
he lies? What about when he lies and you find out 1 year later, sometimes 2, 6 months, whatever.
Yeah,
well, then you got to get out.
Pregnant or already had a kid or
sometimes,
something. It goes that far.
So does staying with the liar make him not a liar? I don't know what you're asking me.
So you get out, even if there's
out.
a kid involved. You get out once you find out that.
Yes, I mean, there are people who have survived with children without that person being in a relationship. Take
and
care
I
of
guess
your
he can
child.
still be responsible.
He could be responsible for the child,
just not in your life.
but just not in your life. You know what? You owe it to yourself to be open to receive the love that you deserve and the love that you want.
Okay. Let's talk about self-esteem and
Yes.
stuff like that. Do you think women who some people actually want to be mistresses, like that friend of yours that you spoke about?
I think that's some
they
sort
like
of
the
a
whole
fantasy.
glamour and everything that comes with the
But
lifestyle.
you know what I think?
What do you think?
I think that people delude themselves into that mindset. I think it comes from a stream of disappointments. I've been in that situation.
Laziness, like you mentioned.
Yes,
People
I
just
was in
don't
that
wanna work.
situation.
Oh, you
I
mentioned last time.
have
Michelle
to confess.
dated a married man.
No, I
You
did
didn't know, or you knew?
I knew. I did it on purpose. So I totally understand the mindset.
You went into the relationship on purpose.
Yes, I was in college, and I had a string of disappointments, and I decided I would date a married man because then I would know exactly what to expect. Nothing. And so therefore, I would then be in control of the relationship. So that was my mindset when I went into it. But it did not end well. He ended up falling in love with me. He ended up leaving his wife for me. Then he ended up getting shot and killed. So it was a big disaster. But all I'm saying that to
Look
say,
at Sandra's face.
look at her face.
Yeah. She shared the story before.
So I understand the mindset, but I think that the mindset comes from a place of deep disappointment and feeling you have no other options.
Disappointment from other relationships?
From other relationships
so you
and
think
failed
a married
relationships.
man is maybe a solid rock for you or something?
It's not so much a solid rock as I'm tired of being used, now I will use. I'm tired of being the one who feels out of control, now I will control. I will call the shots in a sense. I will know exactly what to expect, so I won't be set up for disappointment. He's there. As long as he buys me my things, I'm happy. But it only lasts so long. Because at some point, you're going to want more of that man, or want a man that's free to be with you the way you really want to have a relationship.
Because at some point, loneliness will set in.
Yes, loneliness. I mean, when the holidays, and he can't be there for the holidays, or say you're sick one day and that's the day he can't get away because his wife, you get tired of that. You want your man to be free for you. You want more.
Let me add this thing, which I realize is very common in our society, and we always kind of brush it under the carpet. There are mistresses who are very young. They're in universities, they're young girls. Sometimes their mothers are away, and a lot of these married men are helping them with their education.
School fees.
So a lot of times, maybe these girls don't even want to be in relationships with these older men.
So that's just prostitution. That's not a mistress. Let's call it what it is.
But then, once you get into that, it's a form of prostitution.
Come on now, let's just be real. It is a form of prostitution.
Society, their parents know. Well, usually their mothers.
Their mothers should be ashamed of selling their girls.
But that's what happens.
He's
that's
helping
what
the
poverty.
family.
But if at a young age you get into this unwittingly, because yes, this man says you pay for your education, he takes you on a few trips, you get through school. By the time you're maybe 25, you've been with an older. That's all you know. Maybe sometimes even your first relationships. So then, isn't that the trend will be easier for you to carry on with that married man?
It's such a miserable existence. I mean, at some point, every woman still wants more. That's the bottom line. It is a no-win situation. It is a dead-end road that leads to nowhere. And I think that mothers should be very cognizant of this. You know what? It's amazing. We live in such a Christian society where we wave our hands and praise the Lord every Sunday. But I doubt very seriously that anybody really believes God for the things that He's promised. He's promised to supply all your needs. You don't have to have a man to get an education. There are so many different ways to get an education, but we're lazy. We don't like to own our stuff and take responsibility for our lives.
Okay.
You know?
Right,
I'm sorry.
You're on the roll. You're on the roll right there. Okay,
I'm loving you this morning.
The phone lines have been activated. The numbers are on your screens right now. Please call in and share your experiences with regards to this topic with us this morning, and yes, we'd like to hear from you, so please call in.
You know, and one thing I'll add to this as well, I know this is a very touchy subject. I know some people would want to share but may not want to, because they're probably in situations. You can give us a fake name, I'm
sure they know that already,
but just call us, because we want to know your experience.
And there is a way out. People have to know that there is a way out. I mean, if we say we trust this God so much, He will make a way of escape out, especially since He agrees with you escaping from that situation. And He cannot bless you in that situation.
Okay, so Michelle, there are times, there were a few occasions where the man does eventually leave his wife for you. Would you say that?
They even marry them. There's a couple of cases the mistress becomes the wife.
Yes, it's true. But it's very rare. And there are implications of things that you deal with even then.
When you're the wife, then he gets another mistress.
Yes, exactly. If he cheated on you, he will cheat. If he cheated on you, he will cheat on you. So there you have it. You will live with trust issues for the rest of your life. And
whichever way you look at it, it's just not a good thing.
It just doesn't add up. It just never becomes what. I mean, look at my situation. I got him, but I lost him. You know, in a horrible way.
Shot and killed.
I mean, shot and killed. I mean, I had to deal with the fallout of that. By then, the wife was off and had gotten married and was having a baby with somebody else. So I was the one left with all that
weight.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, this is the thing. I mean, I've been chased by a married man.
I've been chased by lots of married men.
Sandra?
In Ghana,
please. I'm sure every woman that we know, married men chase you.
Yes.
So a lot of time, we'll go to the phone line.
I'd like to hear that story.
And you know what? I want to just interject one thing about lying. I think that women always know when the man is married.
Okay, we'll get into that. Let's go and speak with Otin from Insawam. Good morning, Otin. Oh, Bote, my mistake. I apologize. Good morning, Bote.
I'm Bote, calling from Insawam.
Okay, good morning.
Yeah, I'm very much interested in the program you are doing because it is very educative to the youth of these days. And I happen to settle a case about this mistresses issue with one of my bosses.
Okay.
The husband dated the lady for 10 good years. They gave birth and she wasn't even aware. So it was when I was there when the case came up. And the woman nearly killed the husband. And later, still, the lady is not even stopping these relations. But I believe if the education you are giving, most of the ladies also learn good things about these things. And I love the woman you brought there. I love the way she's also educating the young girls about this kind of lifestyle. God bless you so much for wonderful work.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Bote. Thank you.
Back to that, I think two things.
I agree with
you said. They always lie.
They always know.
No, that
I think the other woman always knows, but the wife, you can forget the wife knows too.
The wife knows
too. After 10 years, you can say maybe.
You know what? I think that you know, but you live in denial. You live hoping against hope. Because a woman has a knower inside of her. It is part of how she is wired. It is part of her instinct to be very intuitive.
That's what we call, intuition.
Yeah, intuition. And I just think that you know in your knower, as I like to call it, that something's up. I think the woman always knows. I think both women know.
Wow.
You know what? Because I'm sorry. I have been in situations. I remember I was dating this guy who lived in New York. And first I had a dream that he was messing around. But then I went to New York. And we were at a church service, and this woman walked up to the front for prayer. And when she walked up to the front,
you knew
in my spirit, I knew. I said, he's sleeping with her.
I had that.
And then afterwards, the woman came up to me after church because he had been talking about me all the time, but told her I was a friend. So she started spilling all their relationship problems, and I said, I am so sorry.
Was he the pastor at the church or something?
No, he's just a guy. But it was just so funny because they had acknowledged me. Oh, Michelle is here and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Okay, we have Comfort from Adenta on the line. Good morning, Comfort.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm great.
Please, what would you like to share?
The thing is, I'm just thinking it's not always about the money, okay? Because sometimes people get into it due to circumstances. You get it, not like the financial aspect. Okay, because I know.
What kind of circumstances?
Sorry?
What kind of circumstances?
Because you're saying it's not about the money, but.
Okay, let's just say that your dad passed away, okay, when you were young, okay, and this friend of his, like, took you up, okay, was taking care of you while you were that young. You get it? You end up developing some sort of fatherly love, okay, at the beginning of whatever it is, like the relationship. You get it? And then as you grow, before you know, those things happen. He's married, fine, and all that, but he starts seeing you in a different way.
But isn't that exploiting? Isn't he's exploiting the young girl?
He's taking advantage of you.
And if you know that he's married, that's off limits.
Your father's friend shouldn't be looking at you in a different way.
No, I'm saying in general.
You might even have fallen for him even before, you know, like he coming forward. You get it? Like the natural one. I'm not talking about after like the money, he helping you and all the other stuff.
But just so you care for him. But can that be a fatherly love? Because I don't want to sleep with no father figure.
Your father's friend.
Or my father's friend. But that's like a father figure. So shouldn't there be that?
I can't hear you.
I said, shouldn't there be that father figure?
Yes, I mean, if he's a father figure, he's not someone that you're attracted to. So what is the other attraction? Yes, you can develop an emotional attachment to someone, but if he's married, at some point, you have to admit that he's married to yourself, and you cannot allow yourself to be emotionally embroiled.
We know it happens. This thing is very common. Thank you. I mean, I think I'm very glad that she brought this up
because it does happen, and it's natural. I understand.
And it's natural. You know, someone enters your life at a very vulnerable stage.
But Michelle, now that you use the word vulnerable, that means they're taking advantage of you.
Yes,
you're vulnerable.
Yes,
and you need them. You're depending on them,
and they know that. And they know that.
See, and you can fall in love genuinely, or whoever the young person is.
They're exploiting.
He knows. Exactly. He knows. So then I think, but then that's the funny thing is, that's why I said we've all been chased by married men.
Yes.
Now in that situation, and it happens to us a lot.
Yes.
Is this the men's fault or is it the women? Especially if they're chasing and chasing and chasing.
Well, it's very hard to resist when you're vulnerable and someone is paying constant attention to you. But that's why I think that women have to have very strong friendships. You know, we're in a society that's very guarded, and we don't like to talk a lot. But we must be able to have someone that we are transparent and accountable to.
Like a girlfriend?
Yes, a girlfriend that tells you the truth without judgment, in love. Girl, don't get yourself in this situation. This is not a good thing. You have to have someone like that in your life, because there are times in the voice of reason, yes, because there are times in our lives where we are vulnerable. And that's why you have to have people speak into your life to keep you focused and keep you balanced.
Right. Okay. So back to the phone lines and all the way to Kumasi to speak with Mercia. Good morning, Mercia.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm really enjoying your program this morning.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead
and
share your experience.
Yeah. I would just want to make a point here that sometimes also people go into such relationship due to, let me say, a vacuum that was created. For instance, I have a personal relationship whereby because I was married to someone because there was a vacuum. Someone was absent. Someone I really loved was absent, so I had to marry someone. You understand? And then now there is that attraction. Now we have met again, and there is that attraction, and something is likely to go on if I keep getting close to that person. So I just want to make that point that sometimes some people get into such relationships. You get my point.
Okay, so this person that you got with, was he a married person? Because the other person was absent. This was a married person.
We both married.
Okay. You're both married. Wow.
Okay.
Okay, so listen to yourself. Does this really make sense for you? Are you not putting your present relationship in jeopardy?
He's not around.
He's not around. Well,
come again?
Yes, I'm just saying, listen to yourself. This is not a good situation to be in. I mean, if your husband is absent, you need to fix that situation, whatever it is. People are not Band-Aids. We can't slap someone else on top of a wound, and now you're violating another woman who is married to this man that you're seeing. I think that part of the problem is, if every woman decided not to have a relationship with a man that was attached to another woman, there would be no adultery. Women have much more control over this situation than the men do, because we are the facilitators. And as long as we say yes, there will always be a man ready and willing to take that slot. And I think at some point we have to have enough self-worth and self-love for ourselves and love for our sisters. How would you want someone to treat your husband? Would you like to be respected and have them say, no, I know that you're married to that woman, and out of respect to that woman, I will not see you? If we could all decide to do that, we would have so much better relationships, because men would go home and work on their relationships.
But she made a good point, though, because this is the thing. A lot of times where you and we've all been in situations where you're like, I don't, because she's saying if the way things is going, I don't know if she's done it yet, but she's getting there too.
No, that's what I'm saying. She said she has. Because that's why I was saying, listen to yourself, because you know the answer, my sister. You know the answer. Get out of the situation, because if you see it progressing, you're the only person that can stop it, and you need to shut it down.
So I guess with her, it was all about loneliness, because she said there was a vacuum. Someone was missing. So it was all about, she said it didn't, she started off by saying it wasn't, it's not always about the financial gain.
Yeah,
and that there was a vacuum. So that means she was lonely. Her husband was absent, and then she needed to fill that void.
For your loneliness, you're going to collect somebody else's husband.
That's right.
So that woman now is going to be lonely because her husband is giving you attention.
And what, I just want to say, we reap what we sow. It never pays to betray or to take what does not belong to you. It will come back.
Are we talking karma?
Yes, karma, consequences, payback, whatever you want to call it.
Let's take another call.
It's real.
Let's take another call. We have Salam from Ashaman. Good morning, Salam.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Please, what would you like to share?
Well, I would like to ask the opposite side of the topic. If a woman following a married man is a mistress, what of a man following a married woman?
Yes.
How would that be called?
Hey, that one you show.
Well, it's the same. I think it's the same.
But the term is not mistress. What's the term? What do we?
That's a toy boy.
A toy boy.
He could be a toy man.
Boys are when they're younger.
That's young.
Oh, well,
we don't know.
We don't know. We have to come up with something for that. But the results are the same, isn't it?
Yeah, the effects and consequences and everything is the same.
Yeah,
you think, because a lot of times when men are going for married women, they're usually just enjoying having fun, because if they don't get emotionally attached.
No, that's not true.
They get financial benefits as well, I think.
I don't know.
No, I mean, I you know what? I had an instance where a friend of mine, now this is a cycle.
Okay.
It's very sad. A friend of mine found out that her husband was cheating with their neighbor for years. The whole neighborhood knew about it, and she said she didn't know. Okay? So now, in the middle of it all, she's getting consoled by her agent. You know, she's an author. And the agent is married. And they end up having an affair. So now the agent gets divorced, and they get married, and they both lose their jobs because they're like Christian authors and agents. I mean, it was a big mess, you know. I mean, how do you repair something like that? The stigma.
Payback, loneliness, and
payback.
You know,
loneliness is a huge vulnerable spot.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of times there are women whose husbands, you know, since we're focusing on mistresses, whose husbands have cheated for years and years and years and years with different women or the same woman. However, the minute that woman decides to, say, get payback and does it, she is Jezebel.
Oh, yeah. Men do not handle that very well at all. They do not handle being cheated on at all very well. Women are actually kind of expected and seem to bounce back from it to some great degree.
Women are expected to put up with it.
Yes, exactly. But men are devastated by it, and they should think about that, you know. Men who, and it's true, a lot of married men fool around with, you know, women too, single or married, you know. So either way on the coin, and then there are women that go after, you know, especially in the office, you know, places of employment are a hotbed for these types of things. You're working in close proximity, you're helping each other. There's a reason that so many men have affairs with their secretaries.
Okay.
You know.
We're almost out of time on this, but I've actually had this conversation with a couple of married men, and they're always like, oh, Amma, you say, you know, a lot of times when you're attracted to a woman, you're married, you say no once, you say no twice, but it gets to a point you can't help it. If Dr. Ampa was here, I'm sure you have some of the craziest.
Yes.
They'll say they can't help it. It's their manly instinct. So, however, is a way to avoid it within a marriage is just to be honest?
Yes. I think that you have to be transparent. Let me get something straight here. God created a man for one woman from the beginning of time. Okay, he said that man shall leave his mother and father, cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one. Okay? So he created the man and the woman to have a monogamous relationship. Society has wired men to think that it's natural and normal for them to just be like rabbits all over the place with several different women. But that is not the way God created them to be. And God would never command you to be faithful if you did not have the capacity to be faithful. He would not ask you to do something that he did not give you the ability to do. So let's be very clear about that. So now, when we talk about men being faithful, yes, we all are hit with temptation. Women are just as tempted. Women are just as sexual as men. I don't know why people don't think that, but they are. But women are trained to constrain their sexuality while men are taught to feed theirs. So once we understand that we're conditioned by society to fall one way or the other, we have to know that if we stay transparent, like I would tell my husband on the day that I get married, if you're ever tempted, I want you to tell me.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me what I'm not doing for you, why that door is open. I would prefer that you come home and tell me, ooh, I saw this woman today and she tempted me because, baby, you added on 10 pounds and I don't like it. I would rather you do that and give me the chance to do my job and do it well as a woman than for you to just go do it.
And look for something else.
Exactly. So transparency is the key to faithfulness. Transparency and accountability within a couple.
Communication.
Yes.
All right. Thank you ever so much, Michelle. Always a pleasure to have you
Juicy
on.
topic.
Yeah, very, very juicy. And I guess from what you said, whichever way you look at it, it doesn't pay to be a mistress. When you look at health-wise, legally, emotionally, it just doesn't pay. So, ladies, let's think about it. This has been Michelle McKinley-Hammond here with us on our lifestyle segment, proudly brought to you by Lipton Tea. But do stay with us because after the break, we still have more coming your way.